We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually.
You have to see how some people might be feeling a little bit of whiplash here, given that Trump spent 10 years railing against U.S.-led regime change war.
It's a regime change. The regime is still there. As far as I know, the vice president.
Let me get this straight. We go to a country, we capture their leader, we bomb it, and then we say, we run this country now. And that's not war. But when they say send cocaine over here that people are willingly snorting, that is war.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
Okay, it's one thing after a major military strike in Venezuela that you have fellow Republicans throwing you under the bus. It's another when it's on Fox News, a network that usually cheerleads anything and everything that the president does.
Because, you know, our founding fathers debated this. They debated whether or not the initiation of war, the declaration of war, should begin with Congress, with the people, with the people's representatives, or whether or not it should be left to one person.
Today, the president got in front of the camera and did, well, whatever this is, for explaining the real reason behind Maduro's capture.
And, you know, he's a violent guy. He gets up there and he tries to imitate my dance a little bit.
Yeah, I'd give it upwards of 90% chance that the president invaded a sovereign nation and captured their leader because he was stealing his dance moves. Anyway, the response on Fox News wasn't full North Korea that you'd expect or find on Air Force One for that matter. Yes, I'm looking at you, Lindsey Graham.
Could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered.
Instead, contributor Kat Timpf went off script and slammed this administration on the attack and the reasons offered to justify it.
Is this a regime change? The regime is still there. As far as I know, the vice president.
Let me get this straight. We go to a country, we capture their leader, we bomb it, and then we say, we run this country now. And that's not war. But when they say send cocaine over here that people are willingly snorting, that is war.
I think that
doesn't make any sense.
It does to me in the sense that if this guy is committing crimes against the United States, you lawfully go and get him. He gets his due process here. The regime is still the same. The VP's there. He wasn't the elected. Remember, he wasn't elected legitimately. So he was never considered the leader of Venezuela by anybody except for himself. So I think difference of opinion, but he wasn't considered a legitimate leader. He had committed crimes against the country. He's going to get his due process. He may be found not guilty. Who knows?
We went in, took him, bombed the country and said we're in control of it. That's regime change war. That's a guy being like, that's like a guy being like, hey, I did bang all these other girls behind your back, but I didn't cheat. You can call it whatever you want, but it is what it is.
That's the analogy you always use.
Okay, well, look, having concerns about this, it's very understandable. A lot of people feel skeptical that this isn't going to be the one that's different than all the other ones.
Yeah.
A lot of people are skeptical. For me personally, I'm not so confident that this is the one that this is not the regime change that's finally going to work the way we say it's going to work. I would not willingly go die for it. I would not willingly send my son to go die for it. So I would think it would be hypocritical of me to call for other people to have to send their
I see your
sons.
point. I just don't see it as that. I don't think Trump is asking for that. I think he's lancing a zit.
It's still going on.
Yeah.
We don't know how long it will be going on for.
But the thing is, she wasn't the only one trying to be heard in the echo chamber. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, a Republican stalwart and one of the Senate's most recognizable conservative voices, took a very public and very specific stand against Trump's military operation in Venezuela. Paul described the action as, quote, war, and openly questioned the administration's decisions framing the operation as a constitutional issue and a break with the party and president's alleged non-interventionist instincts.
We are finally putting America first. Our policy of never-ending war, regime change, and nation building is being replaced by the clear-eyed pursuit of American interests.
This is one of the GOP's more senior senators, right? The kind of figure who regularly appears on Fox News and speaks to conservative audiences, literally calling out his own party's president on something as serious as war powers. Instead of parroting Trump's talking points about liberating Venezuela or fighting narco-terrorism, Paul used the word war, a word that Trump's press team and many Republican allies have carefully avoided in public messaging.
Before the operation took place?
Yes.
Did you maybe tip them off about
Before and after. And they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going to represent us well.
The senator argued that military action of this scale requires clear constitutional authority and congressional authorization, and he said it on Fox News.
I think bombing another nation's capital and removing their president is an act of war. Anybody who argues otherwise, I think, has a very difficult argument. So, yes, the Constitution indicates this should go to Congress first.
Well, I mean, you know, in that soundbite we played, you were arguing that, look, you know, I mean, are we going to go and remove somebody in Saudi Arabia? I mean, with all due respect, I think the goal here is to stop the drug and human trafficking into America. And I don't think Saudi Arabia is sending fentanyl into America.
Well, neither is Venezuela. Venezuela doesn't export any fentanyl at all.
Well,
in
what
fact,
about cocaine?
Their main product.
What about cocaine?
Well, there is some argument, yes, on the cocaine front that there are people within that country. There are also people within several countries in South America that are producing cocaine. What I would say is, look, there's no love lost for Maduro. I've written a book, The Case Against Socialism. I'm glad he's gone. I've described how teenagers are scrounging for food in Venezuela. Socialism is bad, but there's a bigger picture here also between us making this decision. For 30 years, from 1970 to 2000, the Venezuelan people kept voting in socialists. In the initial elections, they actually voted in Chavez, and most people think the initial elections were likely legitimate. But this is the end result of socialism. This is state-sponsored violence that occurred there. But what has to happen now is the people of Venezuela need to choose better. They need to realize that it wasn't just getting a bad person, that this is a bad economic system. So the oil companies have been owned by the Venezuelan government since 1976, the gas companies since 1971. This is not a new thing. So there's a bigger, broader debate we should be having here. And I don't think telling the people of Venezuela, we're coming, the gringos are coming, we're going to run your country, oil companies will come in and run you like we did in the 19th century. I think that even our friends will resist that. And so I think there's a great positive feeling for America now in Venezuela. I don't think we should ruin it by telling them, well, the gringos are coming, the gringos are coming. I think what we should be saying is, now we're going to allow you to assume your sovereignty, for you to make decisions on your oil, and our hope is that you will choose capitalism, not socialism.
That's the part that is bound to ruffle the feathers in the Oval Office, right? For much of the Trump era, Fox News has served as a protective media ecosystem, a place where friendly criticism still tends to stay within the lines of the party's narrative, not including Jessica Tarlov, of course, who often finds herself in Trump's crosshairs when she dares to call to attention his inability to govern.
And historically speaking, the midterms are going to go against the president. The question is, how big is that margin going to be? But Dana said, rightly so, that was what my nodding was, that Donald Trump, if he says, I got you, I'm working on it, that people can hear that and that can resonate. But the problem is that it's not one night, it's not 2 nights, it's like 320 nights that he's had to work on it. And he's put into place policies that are making it worse. And last night's rally, I understand it's all going to be chopped up and that's how people are going to consume it. But it is basically an in-kind contribution to the Democrats. The midterm ads will be full of Donald Trump from last night saying, you can give up pencils. You don't need that many. You don't need $37 for your daughter. 2 or 3 is nice. So we're doing things right. Prices are going down. My favorite word is tariff. I just helped our farmers out because they're starting to do really well. The tariffs are making them rich. There is not a farmer that you could find to do an interview that is saying, I have been made rich because of Donald Trump's tariff policy. And last night, Democrats were also busy in Florida and in Georgia. So there's going to be a new mayor of Miami, Eileen Higgins, a Democrat, hasn't won there in decades. I know, before you say it, Brian, there was an independent who was in there in the early 2000s. Still, Kamala Harris won by 1 point, Miami County. She won by 19 points. We flipped another seat in Georgia. So far in 2025, Dems have flipped 25 GOP held seats. The GOP have flipped 0. That is the story of what's going on here. So you can say people speak Trump. They love the weave. I get it. I never loved it, but I understand that people like it. What they like more is money in their pockets, and he's not delivering on that.
But in this case, Fox's own platform broadcast an unlikely contributor breaking ranks with the Conservative Party, which went viral, by the way, and then a Republican breaking ranks in a way that could resonate with conservative viewers. Conservative viewers who are shown via Fox's own polls to be distancing themselves from the president.
Fox polling shows that voters are still not happy with the economy under President Trump. 72% say national economic conditions are not good or are in poor condition.
But a Fox poll taken in November shows a vast majority of Americans believe the economy is not in great shape, and a majority also blame President Trump.
And that makes it impossible to ignore. And Trump isn't either. He's taking to Truth Social to attack polls, to come after those Republicans who dare not get in line.
If the president believes military action against Venezuela is justified and needed, he should make the case and Congress should vote before American lives and treasure are spent on regime change in South America. Let's be honest about likely outcomes. Do we truly believe that Nicolas Maduro will be replaced by a modern-day George Washington? How did that work out? In Cuba, Libya, Iraq, or Syria, previous presidents told us to go to war over WMDs, weapons of mass destruction, that did not exist. Now it's the same playbook.
GOP unity around Trump has been fraying for a while. We've called it out here on the network, not just on foreign policy, but on the Epstein files and healthcare, which, by the way, Trump just cut the latest Democrat ad while discussing.
But one thing I've learned a lot about healthcare. I found healthcare sort of like not of tremendous interest, but it was very important. And
these are all areas that Republicans and Democrats are actually finding themselves on the same side fighting, while Trump continues to fight on his own and abuse his authority.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.